Peace fam, it's the Pressure Cooker and I'm back with another video. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I haven't gotten a chance to unpack it. When I first came across the story, the individual was on death row. And so I'm going to unpack this. We're going to get into it. So Amber McLaughlin was said to be the first transgendered individual who was executed on death row in the United States. Amber was 49 years old. Now, we're going to unpack the story and then we're going to get into it, okay? Now, first you need to know that Amber McLaughlin was, at the time they committed the crime, they were male and identified as male. I could not find their initial name, their birth name. And Amber, who at the time was a man, identified as a man, dated a woman called Beverly Gunther. Him and Beverly broke up. I'm saying him because this was in the past. And Amber McLaughlin subsequently stalked and R-word and then killed Miss Gunther, okay? On November 20th, 2003. Now, I want you to understand that, once again, what I know of the story is McLaughlin did not begin transitioning or even identify as a trans woman until 3 years ago, okay? So that means she's probably been in jail for a significant period of time. During the process, she befriended another woman, another trans woman, okay, who's helped her with the transitioning process and how to advocate for herself. And the reason I'm talking about this story is I saw, prior to her execution, I saw that there were multiple news articles, and one of the articles stood out to me because it was saying, first transgender woman, might be executed, and they were talking about how as a trans woman it was difficult for her in jail, and there were they totally took the focus off of the true victim, who was Beverly Gunther, who was R'd and killed, okay, by Amber, when Amber identified as a man, okay? And they tried to say that, clemency should be granted because Amber McLaughlin was a victim of abuse in the foster system. There was a lot of horrific things that happened to her when she was a foster child. And obviously, trauma affects us in many different ways. And I also want to say I do support trans rights, so this is not me trying to take away from that. I'm just simply expressing how I feel like the story was painted. I thought it was interesting that I had to dig for Beverly Gunther's story in some of these articles, whereas Amber's plight, Amber's suffering while in jail and becoming a trans woman was the main focus on the article, and it just felt messed up to me that this woman was raped and killed, and these articles asking for people to have compassion for Amber. Okay, now it was very crazy to me because they submitted this, and then they also tried to say that it's not about Amber being trans, it's about her trauma history, and I just wasn't believing that. It just felt like like they were trying to erase what happened. Okay, keep in mind, like I said, Amber was not transitioning until 3 years ago. Okay, it's not like Amber identified as trans at the time. To me, there's a lot of people who identify as trans, but that and also have a traumatic background, and they don't turn out to be rapists and killers. Okay, so I didn't understand why the article was trying to spin things in a way to make it seem like because she had, because it cited gender dysphoria, should be released or should not be executed, I should say, rather. It was very disturbing, very, very disturbing. And I'm going to say this, it's a little controversial. Once again, I believe there are people who are trans and should absolutely be protected, okay? However, in this case, it did make me wonder, an individual such as Amber, it made me wonder if Amber began transitioning because she thought that it would benefit her in the clemency process. Because once again, this didn't start till 3 years ago. I just don't understand. It didn't make sense to me because, like I said, a lot of people have trauma histories. There's a lot of people who aren't even on death row who have trauma histories. And sometimes that's not even considered in their sentencing. So why should somebody who did 3 violent crimes, stalking, R word and murder. Why is this person story being pushed? It just felt cringy to me. It felt upsetting. There are women who have been victims of violent crimes, and they're not even given this consideration, and they're not even advocated in this way. So it really irritated me, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, and this story has been bugging me for a while. But Amber did end up getting executed. Mike Parsons, I don't remember what, I think he's the governor, was like, no, he's not granting clemency. And really, to me, I'm like, what does being trans have to do with clemency? Once again, you committed this crime. It wasn't, you didn't steal cigarettes from the poppy store. These are significant crimes. So I would like to know what you guys think. It's been on my heart, and I really wanted to make sure I got the story out. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.